looking and trying to land that left cross.
And Ruiz counters.
Landing these. Oh, nice uppercut by Buster Douglas. Look at.
On June 1, 2019, the unbeaten unified heavyweight champion from the UK, Anthony Joshua, was set for his American debut against the fighter from New York, Gerald Miller, at Madison Square Garden. 6 weeks before the planned bout, multiple failed drug tests ruled Miller out from fighting and placed the entire event in jeopardy. However, after 2 weeks of searching, the show was saved when flabby Mexican contender Andy Ruiz was announced as a replacement opponent for AJ. Unlike Miller, Ruiz was very respectful in the build-up, posing for pictures and smiling at everybody. Andy Ruiz was a 25-1 shot to dethrone WBO, WBA, IBF, and IBO champ Joshua, but he pulled off what most believed was the impossible.
Receive my instructions. Obey my commands. I want you to protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves now, men. You're boxing at the bell. God bless you both.
1883 win.
Joshua started the fight with his lead left hand swinging low by his waist, a risky tactic that Ruiz warned him against with a couple of early digs that had the crowd concerned. The British hero enjoyed his first scoring punches in the last 50 seconds of the second round when he landed twice with a short left hook and a stiff jab. And in round 3, he raced through the gears and dropped Ruiz with a murderous uppercut. But Ruiz shocked the world seconds later by dropping Joshua in sensational style, and he was saved by the bell moments later when he hit the deck for a second time and took another 8 count. The left hook that AJ is infamously susceptible to clipped his temple first and rendered him senseless. A zombie and a right sent him down. Joshua beat the count but was stumbling around the ring with a vacant grin, all his dreams and hard work hanging by a thread. And Ruiz pounced to batter him to the ground once again, terrifying the one-sided crowd backing their 2012 Olympic icon before the bell saved him. Trainer Rob McCracken had to somehow save his man from one of the biggest embarrassments in sport, and the 4th round looked an improvement when he tagged the challenger. Joshua admitted to hating shorter men because they were able to tuck up and dodge shots, and Ruiz, 4 inches below him, did exactly that. And in round 7, the walls and Joshua came tumbling down. AJ connected with a sweet left hook, but Ruiz countered and stunned him for a 3rd flooring. The accusations of Joshua being chinny were proven moments later when Ruiz earned every penny of his £3 million by dropping him for a 4th time and being crowned Mexico's first heavyweight world champion.
Destroyer Cruz Jr.
He told us he'd hear those words. Andy Ruiz.
On April 7, 2001, one of the biggest and best-selling fights in featherweight history took place between Mexican Marco Antonio Barrera and British star undefeated Naseem Hamed. As a result, this fight became best-selling in this weight category, selling 310,000 pay-per-views. The favorite in the fight was Naseem Hamed, 3-1 in his favor. For this battle, he earned a huge fee of $8.5 million. Barrera received about $2 million. This was Hamed's fifth fight in the United States. His debut was very impressive. He knocked out Kevin Kelly in the fourth round, but during these rounds, each boxer was on the canvas 3 times. Hamed's record was 35 victories, of which 31 were by knockout. Barrera had 52 wins and 3 losses. Although both boxers were 27 years old, it was the Mexican who was considered more worn out by tough fights and a long career, which he began at 15 years old. Hamed's coach was the legendary Emanuel Stewart, which gave him even more advantages. So most experts didn't give the Mexican a single chance, which was strange, because Barrera was far from a whipping boy. The first round saw the flashy Nas play to the crowd and grimace at Barrera as he headhunted with his powerful left hand, ready to pounce as soon as Barrera attacked. But it soon became evident Marco was not going to bring the fight to Naseem. Instead, the challenger boxed cautiously, probing with a stiff jab occasionally followed by a straight right, and landed some heavy counter left hooks. In the second, Hamed turned up the rough tactics to try and assert himself, shoving and grabbing after he missed with his left hand to deny the challenger a chance to counter. Barrera, always the proud warrior, refused to be bullied. With over a minute left in the stanza, Hamed lunged forward and missed with a wild right, only for the Mexican to tackle him to the canvas and pin him there as if saying, "Enough of that."
Inside. Naseem's power that Barrera is fighting the way he is. His fight is to move to the left, stay away from that left hand. Big left hand by Barrera inside.
Every round, Barrera should send him to the corner to connect with a left jab.
As with a quick combination there.
57, 3 rounds apiece. From Marco Antonio Barrera.
Harold Letterman has it even in round 6 by CompuBox numbers.
You start fighting. That's what Barrera is doing. He's pacing himself.
And Barrera says, come on.
This is the jab, double jab.
Zone to appear to take a lead on the scorecard.
Now for the first time you see the Prince getting closer. You see the Prince just will not jack.
By the middle rounds, both fighters were fully committed to their strategies. Hamed tried again and again to land his power shots, but Barrera's plan to circle away from Hamed's left put him in a great spot to fire his own left hooks, which connected with authority on Hamed's body and head. In the second half of the fight, Barrera pulled ahead on the scorecards, further exposing Hamed's tactical weaknesses and lack of creativity. Hamed versus Barrera was proving to be a one-sided rout as Barrera put on a boxing clinic against a dangerous puncher. The Mexican had completely rewritten the script everyone had memorized, turning what was supposed to be Hamed's coronation into a humiliation.
But he hasn't thrown anything with it. He's missed it.
He can't.
That the Prince has developed since he was a boy. There is, George. There is. We're not taking that advice. He's going for it.
By round 10, Emanuel Stewart started begging Nas for a knockout. Barrera was just 3 minutes away from a dominant win. Nevertheless, Hamed came out swinging in the final stanza, searching for the one big shot that could salvage the night and his undefeated record. Hamed's reckless attack did not impress Barrera, however, who decided to put an end to Nas's frenetic swinging by trapping Hamed in an arm lock and pinning him face first into a corner post, like a cop apprehending an insolent hoodlum. Barrera lost a point for that move, but this would prove a mere footnote in what became one of Marco's greatest performances and perhaps his biggest win. All 3 scorecards declared Barrera the winner and new featherweight champion of the world. After that punishment, Nassim Hamed didn't activate the rematch clause, had only one fight in London, and retired from boxing.
Marco Antonio Barrera.
On October 30th, 1974, the world heavyweight champion George Foreman defended his title against the former world champion Muhammad Ali. Big George became the champion by simply destroying Joe Frazier in less than 6 minutes, while previously it was Joe Frazier who inflicted Ali's first defeat. 3 years later, Ali took revenge and went back to fight for the title. The promoter of the fight was Don King, who promised $5 million to each boxer. In the end, the fight took place in Africa, in a country that's now called the Democratic Republic of Congo. Foreman was unbeatable and had a streak of 24 consecutive knockouts. Many expected Ali to approach the fight as he had the bouts of his youth, with quick footwork and finesse. Indeed, Ali had told the press before the fight that he would attack Foreman this way. However, Ali came out with a much slower, more methodical approach. In the first round, he attacked Foreman ferociously before retreating to the ropes and allowing his opponent to throw punches and gradually tire himself out, a tactic since dubbed rope-a-dope. Ali blocked and dodged many of Foreman's strikes in the early rounds, but sustained several arm and body blows.
An improved left jab. There's a vicious, awkward, but very powerful. In round two. Oh, a great left hand taken by the champion George Foreman. There's the left hand in the eye of Foreman. There's the vicious left hook to the body. Foreman setting him up against the rope. What a vicious, fast combination by Ali. Foreman looks unusually slow with his hands. But look at this now. All of a sudden he opens up.
Eventually, Ali's strategy paid off. By the 5th round, Foreman had begun to visibly tire. Most of Foreman's shots were blocked, and when the champion did manage to land a solid blow, the iron-tough Ali taunted him by pausing to ask like a neophile, comparing vintages, if that was George's best.
Left hand taken on the face of George. Let the man punch himself out.
In the 8th, Ali saw his chance and went on the attack, knocking Foreman out with a combination of quick punches, shocking his opponent and the world. The fight showed that Ali was capable of taking a punch and highlighted his tactical genius, changing his fighting style by adopting the rope-a-dope instead of his former style that emphasized movement to counter his opponent. At that time, Ali became only the 2nd heavyweight after Floyd Patterson, who managed to regain the heavyweight championship. On June 19, 1936, Joe Louis faced Max Schmeling at Yankee Stadium, USA. Louis was the 10-1 favorite over the German boxer. In the first rounds, Joe Louis continued to land his left jab almost at will and dug a couple of tremendous left hooks into Schmeling's midsection. In round 4, Louis started unleashing his heavy artillery. Suddenly, after Louis withdrew his left hand after landing yet another jab, Schmeling uncorked a tremendous right hand over the top of Louis's left. The punch had tremendous power and sent Louis reeling across the ring. Schmeling continued to land his right hand round after round, and after that the only question was whether Louis would survive.
And he's got this impassive look on his face, Louis, hasn't he? And this has been an excellent round. right hand, and he's dead. So sometimes very, very hard to catch a wounded man, as Louis is. But he was... Oh, good punch again here. Impact, but Max, a crunching right hand. And despite Louis sprinting out for the shots from Schmeling, reminding you that Max Schmeling and Mickey Walker won a losing one in this. So knows he has the expression on his face hasn't changed. Oh, decent right there from Louis a moment ago. It's Germany, not Schmeling. And again the right hand through the gap. And punch to sip through that nicely into it. To nail to the head, of course, Max Schmeling here. Louis now very well aware. So despite anything that Joe Louis... But 7 fights unbeaten. And that's Schmeling. It lost 7 and draw by and large. It's been a sport. The first man to beat Louis in the... Well, that was an interesting left hook there. Very bothered by that. And Schmeling right hands have taken. But then again, Sodas has something of a legend to beat. Got the intensive landing just one. Schmeling is the danger punch. 10. He was pushing out his left hand instead of snapping. Certainly, Schmeling's punches in this particular away from him. Well, one of the few spells of infight.
The battle was finally over in round 12. It's estimated that Louis took at least 57 of Schmeling's right-hand bombs before he was finally knocked out. It was the only time that Louis would be knocked out while he was in his prime.
Will he beat the kid's head? He can't beat the count, surely it's all over. So Max Schmeling wins. Terrific win from Max Schmeling and unexpected against the undefeated Joe Louis.
On February 11, 1990, Mike Tyson faced James Douglas at Tokyo Dome, Japan. As a 42-1 underdog, Douglas earned $1.3 million from the fight, while Tyson got $6 million. From the beginning of the fight, it was apparent that Douglas was not afraid. He displayed a lot of spring in his body movement, was not cautious in letting his punches fly whenever he saw the opportunity to attack Tyson. He used his quick and accurate jab to prevent Tyson from getting inside, where Tyson was most dangerous. Douglas would still dominate the middle rounds, although Tyson managed to land a few of his signature uppercuts. Tyson was wobbled by a chopping right during the 5th round.
Oh, an uppercut got through that time by Buster. Look at this, Buster landing some shots here. Busted death of custom out a good left hook to the body that time. They tell me again, interesting information that Buster Douglas has landed. Now let's see if Buster can hang on and keep him off. Instead, it's Buster coming back. Japanese crowd of some 35,000 on hand here, enjoying what they certainly didn't expect. And Mike, you saw landed that big left hook, and there he goes headhunting. And you see, oh, there's Mike missing that big left and just grazed the chin of Buster Douglas. And Douglas answering with loaded up shots of his own as the bell ends. Take this into some later rounds. But there was a real good right hand that landed off the hand. Oh, big right. Tallest guys that I can recall him fighting. You see that punishing body shot with the right hand? One stage I questioned whether that could be the fight plan to drag it into the later rounds, but Buster not showing any signs of wearing time. Doesn't seem to hurt Buster. He's in great shape, there's no question about it. Look at him pushing Mike off. Now there's something you haven't seen. Buster has got the confidence of perhaps, you know, you go back to fight to this point. Buster, a little abrasion by his left eye. Wow, with the left hand is Buster Douglas. Buster drops that big right hand, but Mike takes it on the glove, and he backs off Mike again with the left. Wow, with the right hand is Buster. Just as I say it, wow, with the right hand that time is Buster. Buster tried.
Within the last 10 seconds of the 8th round, Tyson, who had been backed onto the ropes, landed a big right uppercut that sent Douglas to the canvas. Douglas rose as the referee signaled 9, but the bell ended the round. In the 9th round, Tyson came out aggressively to try and end the fight and save his title, hoping that Douglas was still hurt from the knockdown. Douglas was able to fight off Tyson's attack and was able to close Tyson's eye completely.
He's down, he comes to the uppercut. Somehow or other, Buster's throwing shots back. Look at this. Buster is not ready to pack it in. Nobody expected us to be in. Look at these shots just loading up. Did he buckle the legs of Mike? I don't know. He got him again. Buster fights back strongly, landing some big shots. And now he can't get killers. Look at this. Who would ever have expected this? In a round and not Buster would back it in.
In the 10th round, Tyson pushed forward, but he was still hurting from the accumulation of punishment he had absorbed throughout the match. As Tyson reeled back, Douglas immediately followed with 4 punches to the head, knocking Tyson down for the first time in his career. In a famous scene, Tyson fumbled for his mouthpiece on the canvas before sticking one end in his mouth with the other end hanging out. The champion attempted to make it back to his feet, but referee Octavio Myron counted him out. Buster Douglas thus became the new undisputed heavyweight champion, engineering one of the biggest upsets in boxing history.